In the murky world of financial crime, money laundering is a sophisticated and insidious practice that disguises the illicit origins of funds. Today, we delve into a specific case that sheds light on the mechanics of this crime, the Annabella Ylagan case of 2018. Meet Annabella C. Ylagan, a seemingly ordinary employee at Tenco Enterprises. However, beneath her unassuming exterior lurked a cunning criminal mastermind. Ylagan's position as a liaison gave her access to her employer's funds. She exploited this trust to embezzle millions of pesos over a period of 4 years, laundering the money by using forged documents and creating fake bank accounts to transfer her employer's funds for personal benefit. She specifically conceals or disguises the true nature, source, location, disposition, movement, or ownership with respect to the said monetary instrument. Ylagan's scheme began with a simple yet deceptive strategy. She created fictitious bank accounts under the alias Lourdes R.U. Using forged letters of authority, Ylagan instructed banks to transfer funds from Tenco Enterprises accounts to these fictitious ones. The stolen funds were deposited into these fictitious accounts, marking the first stage of the money laundering process. Ylagan's goal was to integrate illicit money into the legitimate financial system. To obscure the origin of the funds, Ylagan engaged in a series of complex financial transactions known as layering. She repeatedly moved the money between different accounts and banks, making it difficult to trace. The final stage of money laundering is typically integration, where the laundered funds are reintroduced into the legitimate economy. While there is no specific evidence of this in Ylagan's case, it is likely that she intended to use the money for personal gain or investments.
Tenco Enterprises failed to detect Ylagan's fraudulent activities due to inadequate internal controls. The banks involved also played a role by not flagging suspicious transactions. Implementing stricter controls over fund transfers, such as requiring dual authorization for high-value transactions and regular audits, could have prevented this crime. As covered entities under the Anti-Money Laundering Act, Tenco Enterprises and the involved banks, allegedly HSBC and China Trust Commercial Banking Corporation, had a legal obligation to report suspicious transactions. Ylagan was convicted and sentenced to 385 years in prison in the Correctional Institute for Women in Mandaluyong. She is currently serving her sentence and is not capable of committing similar crimes. However, if she were to be released, her rehabilitation would be crucial to prevent recidivism. On a side note, money laundering techniques are constantly evolving. Even if Ylagan cannot physically commit the crime from prison, she could potentially provide guidance or instructions to others who may utilize more sophisticated methods to evade detection. The anti-money laundering law has proven effective in addressing cases like Ylagan's, leading to her successful conviction. However, some gaps remain that need attention, such as the need for faster reporting and more proactive fraud detection within banks and companies. Lawmakers could strengthen the legislation by tightening requirements for verifying fund transfers and imposing stricter penalties on banks that fail to report suspicious transactions promptly. While the Robin Hood phenomenon involves taking from the rich to give to the poor, this concept does not apply to Ylagan's actions. She did not redistribute the stolen funds for altruistic purposes. Instead, she used the money for personal gain. Her actions were driven entirely by self-interest, with no intention of benefiting the disadvantaged. Thus, labeling Ylagan as a Robin Hood figure is entirely inappropriate, as her conduct lacked any element of social justice or benevolence.